and today we are here. So they should pay attention to the issues, because whatever it is, they are a major competitor. And I wish them all the best. But like Boache Jaku said, they have created a Caesar. And in classical history, everybody knows the symbolism of Caesar in terms of politics, in terms of our body politics. Let me make this point. Regarding what is happening in Domi Kwabenya, all right, at the EC office at Reach.
Yes. When we understand there's some recollation that has been agreed upon. Let me just establish this quickly. Please, let's go quickly back to the Electoral Commission Greater Courageous Office, what you're seeing on the screen right now. Earlier, there was this contention about whether 88 or 33 polling, that's 3 polling stations, I beg your pardon. Now, we understand that there's been a resolution to collate 3 polling station outstanding results. Let's go there now.
And so, Michael Quay, 50,567, 50,567. Right, and so the difference is 165. That's the difference between the 2 candidates, 165 after the 2 out of the 3 outstanding polling stations were included. And so after the 2 outstanding was added, the NPP's Michael Quay had 50,567. Faustina Likwi Makulu had 50,742. The difference between the 2 candidates is 165. And so 50,732 rather, not 42 and 32. And so the difference between the 2 is 165. If anything is to go by what we've heard, is anything to go by, we're seeing Mr. Nimaku make the case that they want to see the total against their pink sheets to get the indication as to whether or not it tallies, and that is what they're asking to be done. But the agent of the NDC is signing the statement of poll and declaration form at this particular point in time, because they are in the lead with 165 votes difference, and so that's what's happening now. But we were told that if the difference between the 2 candidates is such that that 1 polling station outstanding, the results can influence the votes, then it is the case that they will have a rerun in that particular constituency. And we get the indication that that outstanding polling station has a voter population of some 500 or 689 registered voters with respect to that 1 outstanding polling station. And so, well, a question was asked, and the NDC agent strongly came out saying they are not lazy, they weren't dancing at the campaign, much to the chagrin of the NPP, because the NPP team asked how the EC arrived at the numbers, which almost seems to tally with the NDC is asking for a declaration. The NDC is asking for a declaration to be made the NPP is strongly opposing that at this particular point in time, and so the forms are being filled. The numbers appear to tally with that of the NDC. The NPP does not agree. The NDC is asking for a declaration to be made. The NPP's supporters, because that individual who's speaking vehemently is not an agent. Only accredited agents or agents identified are within the inner perimeter. And the statement of the NPP being lazy is what has really riled them up at this particular point in time. It's being moved away by one of the officials, the police officers here. And so the argument is continuing. Whether or not you were there when the collation was done is a question being asked by the NDC, as the NPP strongly counters. But this is your election command center. They're seeking to bring a certain level of calm to the entire process. Mr. Nimako is rebuking his agent with respect to hitting the table, and the arguments are quite intense between the two masked men because they both are in nose masks and their faces not clearly seen for you to be able to ID anybody with respect to the arguments they are making. Mr. Okwe is on his feet and is seeking to make an interjection, but Dr. Siribo Kweku was asked. He's seeking to make a point strongly as to what the way forward is, and threats to a certain level being issued from the two marksmen, one each from the NPP and the NDC. But Mr. Siribo Kweku, So he's accusing the NDC marksman, is literally accusing the NPP marksman of insulting him. Mr. Nimako is an arbiter, has been seeking to preach peace and calm the waters. And Dr. Siribo Kweku is seeking to make that declaration, which I suspect will be a rerun in that one polling station. 665 669, and so they are going to inform the commission for a final decision to be taken on the way forward. But he's seeking to make a point, and so that is the point. There is going to be no declaration. Mr. Nimako is asking for a copy of Form 1C, which is the statement of poll and declaration form. I suspect the NPP says they don't have a copy of it. They're asking, the Form 1 is a coalition sheet. Right, so what we're seeking, what the NPP is seeking to get is a copy of the coalition sheet, and that's what they are seeking to get a copy of before they can leave. What is expected to happen is that the NPP says they want a copy of the coalition sheet, but a question is to be asked whether or not and so they are making the case for a copy of the coalition sheet to be handed to them. The big question being asked is whether or not a declaration will be made. It doesn't look like there will be a declaration in respect of announcing Elikplim Akurugu as the winner of Kwabenya. There's still a stalemate with respect to that, because there has to be a rerun of a possible rerun of that one polling station. from 1C, the coalition sheet is what Mr. Nimako is asking for on behalf of the NPP, because they weren't present when that initial declaration was made for Eliklim Akurugu, for Sina Eliklim Akurugu, and so that is the development right now. The disruption meant that one polling station, both parties do not have it, and so we're seeking to get a bit more in terms of our understanding as to the way forward. Right, and so the Form 1C, which I believe is a coalition sheet, the coalition sheet now I believe is being filled by the Electoral Commission officials for the NPP team who are present. There's a lot of conversations happening, but by way of information for you, Dr. Sribokweku went through the details again with respect to the numbers both candidates had polled. Michael Kwe Jr., 50,567. Eliklim Akurugu, 50,732. The difference between the two candidates is 165 votes. Now that one missing polling station, which both the NPP, the NDC, the Electoral Commission do not have details of, has 669 registered voters. Meaning, if that number is added to Michael Kwe Jr., he wins, Dom Kwabenya. And so a decision cannot be taken. He says they are going back to report to the commissioners for a decision to be taken. I reckon it will be the subject of another IPAC meeting. But if we can glean anything from what Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer told us, is that they were going to seek to rerun that polling station, which is in the Abokobi area, a polling station around that part of the country. And so finally headway appears to be being made with respect to Dome Kwabenya at this particular point in time. But really, what next is the big question, because I must mention as well that there's presidential coalition expected for Ahafo North as well, and that's why you see LPG agent and a host of other agents. You see Peter McMahon amongst other individuals all present here and accounted for, waiting to go through the process. But now they are filling the Form 1C, which is the collation sheet for the NPP, because they did not have a copy, because they were not present when the declaration was made for Eliklim Akurugu somewhere December 9th, earlier on this month. And so that is the level of progress that's been made up until this point. It still appears that there is no winner at this particular point in time. You cannot say Eliklim Akurugu has won. You cannot say Michael Kwe has won. There's a difference of 165 votes between Eliklim Akurugu, who's leading, and then Michael Kwe Jr. This is a seat that the NPP has won comfortably for quite a while. Sarah Adjwasafo, the incumbent member of parliament for that particular constituency, was not retained by delegates for reasons which included she going AWOL for close to 2 years when there was duty to be carried out in Parliament. She was gender minister and had left the shores of the country. The constituents argued that it was one thing they could not forgive her for, and so when she went into battle again with Michael Kwe Jr., whose father had been member of parliament for Dom Kwabenya on the ticket of the NPP again, the delegates in the Dom Kwabenya constituency said they will hand it over to Michael Kwe Jr. to lead the charge of the NPP. But Elikli Makurugu had been forcing her way through. She clawed in some votes, considerable level of votes really, in 2020, which many analysts say should have served as warning signals to the NPP that some level of work was being done in that constituency by the NDC, and the lack of the presence of Sarah Adwoa-Safo in the constituency with respect to what should happen going forward, many say as well contributed to what we're seeing now, this difficulty by Michael Kwe Jr. to be able to retain that seat, which has been theirs traditionally and comfortably. It looks like progress has been made. Everything is being rounded up now because we see that the agents of the NPP are up on their feet. They've got their Form 1C as well, which is the coalition sheet. And it looks like there's still no clear winner just as yet at this particular point in time. We'll try and get a few words from a number of the individuals present and accounted for. Michael Kwe Jr. will be, of course, of great interest to us, even as he continues to tabulate and scribble on a jotter, along with words from Peter McMahon and Michael Kwe Jr. But some progress has been made here now finally with respect to what should be happening following the earlier misunderstanding as to the way forward. But the masked men who were engaged in some arguments, the one on the part of the NPP appears to be in a tete-a-tete of some sort with Dr. Sribo Kweku. But it looks like progress has been made, but it is not progress which will lead to a declaration for any of the candidates. There's one outstanding polling station with over 600 voters, which can considerably affect the outcome of the poll, because in parliamentary contests, it's first past the poll. Somebody can win by just 2, 1, 6, you name it what. In 2020 in Sine West, there was 16 votes difference, which handed out the seats to the NDC, and so it's first past the poll. And so when you consider that 600 plus registered voters are in that final constituency and it can overturn the election results, then the Electoral Commission will be expected to rerun. That's the indication we get from Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer from that IPAC meeting. He says they were from this morning before they all moved here. And so that is what is expected. We are waiting to see what will happen. The husband of Eli Klim is forcefully making some argument as well with respect to the tallying of votes.
So that's what's happening at the Electoral Commission. What you're saying there, Dr. Sribo Kweku and other AEC officials at this Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission. And we're talking about the Dom Kwabenya constituency. In this election, the biggest constituency in terms of registered voters. They had the highest number of registered voters if you do the Electoral Commission based on the data that they gave to us. And from what we understand now, there's in fact, yes, the results so declared with the 2 out of the 3 outstanding polling stations added. Michael Kwe Jr., 50,567, and Faustina Elikpili Makurugu, 50,732. There's a difference of 165 now. The outstanding polling station has 681 registered voters. Let's go to the EC now.
By the commission. that from Kwabenya, the report from the returning officers was that they have concluded collating 367 polling station results. They were left with 3 of the results. And the 3 of the results were brought later. And the commission rejected one of it outrightness on the sense that it was declared on a wrong statement of poll because they use training sheet, which is not the one that they should use. So the commission has rejected one. So we tried to come and add the 2 and see what happens. So when we added the 2 based on their statistics, the difference between the 2 candidates is now 165. Then the one that was rejected, the total number of voters was 669, meaning that if you give that number to the second person, he will overtake the first person. So it means that you have to go and rerun election at that polling station. So that's the decision.
What's the name of the polling center?
I don't have it offhand. I can't tell you.
How soon is the commission going to take a decision? The name again.
Kobe Women's Development Center 2.
So we are sending our report to the commission. Then the commission will take a decision on when it should be done. But you are sure that it will be done before they are inaugurated? Yes.
You are sure all these things are not working against your timelines?
I'm saying that you are sure that that will be done before the inauguration.
Thank you. So that's Dr. Shobo Kweku, Director of Elections for the NPP, Evan Simako. Let's get a few words from him.
Yes, I think that we behaved in a mature manner as parties. We had an IPAC conversation. The EC informed us that there are 3 polling stations outstanding. We've looked at it. What tells us now is that there's the need to rerun in 1 polling station. We are going to go back and talk to our base. This is an election the New Patriotic Party has shown a lot of maturity. We've really taken on board all those unnecessary confrontations from our opponents, but it's in the good of Ghana. The message from the candidate, Dr. Baumia, was that before, during, and after the election, there must be peace in Ghana. And it is what the New Patriotic Party is exhibiting. What we've gone through. Strangely, we had not been given the Form 1C, which is the collation sheet. Our colleagues had them. Thank God today we've gotten copy. We are going to look at each one of them from 1 polling station to the other. Mind you, there are 370 polling stations. And so we are going to look at each one of them as they are represented on the collation sheet. And we'll come back. So this is a process that is still ongoing. It also clear to everybody that what may have occurred as a constituency was not right. So we'll go through.
You said you guys had the Form 1C of them. Why is it that they had it and you couldn't get it?
I think that the EC should be in the position to answer. You need to find out from the returning officer why they were able to give copy to the NDC but will not give us copy. In fact,
so you were not present. You were not present there.
We were here because we were not giving information as to the collection that was supposed to go on. So we were not there. But we met here for a continuous collation. The EC we work with, the returning officer, and the DEO didn't mention anything of Form 1C. But it's in the good of it. The New Patriotic Party is going to go back to the constituency. We'll work out with our people. We know that the good people of Kwabenya will give our candidate, Michael Aaron Jr., the vote that he would need to go to Parliament to represent them very well in the 9th Parliament.
So do you want a rerun of the elections at that particular polling station?
The decision from the commission is that there's going to be a rerun in that polling station, and that's what we are going to do.
Are we going to see active campaigning from the NPP?
Everybody who is supposed to be on the register, the New Patriotic Party is going to reach out to them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Evan Simako as well, seeking to suggest that they believe there's some level of irregularity. Let's speak to Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer as well. Doc, talk to us. What you said is what has happened. The expectation is that there will be a rerun of some sort. Are you satisfied with the process thus far, and how is the party preparing for that rerun in that polling station?
Well, let me make it very clear. We have not reached any final conclusion on this yet, because they themselves, they have problem with their additions. The additions they came out with, it's not a true reflection of what happened. You remember when they did the declaration on the D-Day, interestingly enough, they had soft copies of the results of the 3 polling stations, and they declared Madam Akurugu by 51,000 plus, and Makukwe had 50,000. So there was a difference of 1,154. Very huge difference. So today, if you are having problem with one polling station, that one polling station should be taken out, and that one polling station total votes are 689. So when you take out 689 from 1,157, your guess is as good as it's a simple arithmetic. You see the problem I have with this commission. They always have problem with arithmetic. That's their problem. So they said they were relying on a laptop to do calculation. Do we do electronic calculation in Ghana? Our results are manual. We go by the pink sheets and we go by the collation form. The collation form is what is known as the Form 1C. Then the summary sheet is the Form 1D. So we have taken the Form 1C. We'll do the calculation for them and bring it back. These people are.
So what? Your votes have been reduced?
Completely. We completely disagree with it, because on the face of it, they themselves know that when you declared her, she was leading with about 1,154. So if you are expanding one, and the one total votes is 689, this one is a primary school mathematics. It's not algebra. So it's not logarithm.
You feel that the 165 is a decrease in your calculation?
Of course, they have problem with arithmetic. We are going to do the calculation and bring it back. We told them they should hold their horses. We are doing the calculation ourselves. Our opponents also pick one. They should also go and enter. We'll go and enter. Simple Excel sheet, and we'll get it.
Doesn't mean that the NDC is not going to campaign.
There's no rerun. She has won.
The EC just told us. The EC just told us that there's going to be a rerun.
I am saying that they have a problem with their arithmetic. It's their own document. You remember when we did registration, they were doing wrong calculations. Quarrel draw people. I'm not surprised they've used quarrel. No, I'm saying we have won the election.
So that means I'm not going to campaign back at Abokobi station.
Campaign, you are talking. I say we have won the election. The document will show. Let's come back. We are coming back with it. We'll go and sit down, do the arithmetic for them.
Dr. Tanko, you told us that you have to go and do the recalculation from the C1 form you got from the EC.
Yes.
And then that will inform your EC. You haven't done the calculation yet. But you said
I am saying that per the calculation they did on the D-Day and what they've written on their own summary sheet is 51,000 for Madam Akurugu. The gentleman got 50,000. It's there. It's on the distance. So and you are saying remove one polling station from it, and it's a problem to them.
And then it arrives at the figure the EC announced today. What will you tell the public?
I am saying that we are going to look at it.
Well, so there you have it. That's Dr. Asitanko computer there. So the Electoral Commission, the communication from Dr. Sribo Kweko earlier is that they have decided to rerun the elections in the Abokobi Women's Development Center 2. That's a polling station in the Kwabenya constituency that has some 669 registered voters there. And he says that if there has to be a rerun, which they've decided, it will be before the inauguration of the 9th Parliament, which is on the dawn of January 7. But then again, they've decided to do this because if you look at the difference between Aaron Makukwe and Faustina Akurugu, it's just about 165. And so the 669 registered voters in this Abokobi Women's Development Center 2 would make a difference if it is added either ways. And so we have the Kwabenya constituency, which is actually the biggest constituency that went into this election with some 370 polling stations. That's 370 polling stations, 182,644 registered voters. So that's the decision now.
Yes,
you oppose it.
Yes, I don't know why. First of all, my party is participating in this because results have been declared.
Yes.
And let me quote Justice Ansah, Julius Ansah. He recently retired from the Supreme Court. In ex parte, Dr. Sari, he said this. The decision in ex parte Alhaji Collins Dauda Supra is to the effect that in a parliamentary election where the electoral processes have been substantively carried out up to the point where a candidate has been declared elected, that is up to the process in Regulation 41, Sub-Regulation 1C of CI 15, which was enforced then, the election is complete and an election petition can be brought to challenge the validity of the election. Do you know what this means?
Tell me.
They have varied the terms of PNDC Law 284, 1992, which says that you must wait for Gazette notification before you proceed to court. This Supreme Court pronouncement is saying that once results are declared and you are aggrieved, just file your petition. Don't wait for Gazette notification. Now, it's implied from ex parte Alhaji Collins Dauda Supra that the subsequent processes, namely the endorsement of the rate and its transmission to the Electoral Commission, as well as the publication in the Gazette and notification to the Clerk of Parliament, that is processes in Regulation 41(1)(d) and E and Regulation 41(2)(a) and B of CI 15, are not necessary for the election to be complete. It can also be inferred from ex parte Alhaji Collins Dauda Supra that in a parliamentary election, the electoral processes up to the point that a candidate is declared elected by the Electoral Commission go to the substance of the election, whereas the subsequent processes after such declaration are for purposes of record and public notification, and do not affect the substance of the election. This inference is given credence by CI 15 itself. For instance, CI 15 prescribed that publication through some other mass communication media may be substituted for Gazette publication. So this is the authority.
I see.
And this is not per inquiry. This is a holding. Per answer GSE. So he says that all the other publications, they are all administrative. Even though statutory required, they are administrative. They do not go to invalidate the pronouncement at the collation center of an elected candidate. Any other subsequent process in terms of being aggrieved, it has to be before the High Court.
Right. I think that's also captured in the section 9.
Yeah, but finally, how does the incompetence of an EC officer affect the candidate? So how?
Yadia some debiabo, Obibewa, Nefi Yadia, Amaman Kamasam, and Yadianuti, and Amadi Alternative Health Center, Yadi Abramo. I want to form up a war. Say your kidney, and I'll live. I want to touch my hypertension, and I do
wait to bring you all the live coverage as things unfold in the coming days. This remains your election bureau on Channel 1 TV. My name is Fred Duho reporting.
What took a to them? What China and Tabre and so intimate? You better stroke not say the amount deku ammonia hoto. Wow, opposite a massage you mean to Chomonia hoto. Akuponcha, everyone made the alternative house.
Okay, undermine the expression of the sovereign will of the people. Thank you. Are you saying is he insinuating that the results were falsified or were written on those training sheets by the NDC? If it's your own official,
can the figures be regularized?
Okay. So if you on Form 8, if it is your own official who did that, then take it and then just
transpose it into the regular prescribed.
But to say that because of that must subvert the expression of the popular will of the people in that area is absolutely unacceptable. It tells me that you need a certain fundamental appreciation of the will of the people to be able to occupy some.
In any case, we want that police station.
Yes, but let me ask. I disagree with the rejection. With the rejection,
let me add
purely based on the fact that
the presidential election, didn't they write it on paper?
Yeah. Okay.
When they were declaring the presidential outcome in the election, didn't they write it on a piece of paper?
If you have deliberately been incompetent, must that undermine the expression of the will of people?
And let me add this point. So rightly, Prof, the point both of you have made in the Ekufuado and Bawumia versus John Mahama, that was the decision of the Supreme Court. So failure to even